So in our business, we like to stay abreast of what's in the news. And one of the really hot topics we're hearing now is a real push for return to office. And we're seeing a lot of companies like Dell, AT&T, Twitter, all pushing for return to office mandates 4 or 5 days a week. And we're starting to see this trickle into Canada. We're hearing in the news companies like CIBC, RBC, BMO, all pushing for return to office, many of them kind of moving this forward in the fall.
Now, we're seeing the big enterprise companies really pushing for this, right? So there's a lot of chatter about that out on the internet and in the forums. So lots of challenges to talk about today. I think that people are very current with this because they're watching. They're watching what their companies are.
They're glued to their TVs. I think one of the things to note, though, as we're seeing it sort of unfold in Canada, what seems to be really in the news is this happening within the financial sector predominantly. And I think it's important to highlight that we might not see this unfold within a variety of different sectors. It might be sort of more sector specific. So if we look at not-for-profit, for example, the compensation there, the remuneration, it tends to be a little bit different than what you see in the financial sector. So they might choose to maintain flexible work as part of an attraction and recruitment strategy.
Yeah, I really think that there's differences in the sector. And I think that one of the things that we see when we work with our clients is that there's quite a lot of variation in what companies are actually doing. So the news happens to center on some of these big, huge companies that are making these mandates and getting out there and making these mandates. But there's a lot of other things actually happening behind the scenes and are quietly going on. Research out there that sort of suggests that there really isn't a difference between hybrid workers and full-time and office workers in terms of their productivity levels. I know Nicholas Bloom discusses this. His Stanford research is actually looking closely at this. And they're not seeing actually differences in productivity levels between people who work in the office 2 days a week and those people who work in the office 4 to 5 days a week. And they're actually seeing high retention levels amongst those staff who actually have flexibility. The workers that seem to be suffering a little bit are those that are fully remote. And I think there's a little bit of confusion around what is full remote and what is hybrid. And I think leadership actually mix up those concepts and then actually have this knee-jerk reaction wanting to bring people back. But full remote means full time out of the office. And that actually does show in the research that the results are a little different, that those workers are actually not faring as well. The productivity may not be as high. The retention levels for those workers are a little lower. So if they are confusing those pieces of information, then they are going to make very different decisions.